Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be trying to see how much damage I can do in one hit in 100 minutes. So to start off my run, I picked the Bandit or whatever this class is called just because it has the most amount of strength, and I'm going to be going for a strength build. And once I trigger this boss fight, I jump off quickly because I know I'm not going to beat it, and it's just a waste of time. Now once I get to Limgrave, it's just a matter of running to Graces, picking up items, and repeating that process back and forth. Once I get to the bonfire in Stormhill, I claim the turret and spend quite a while trying to figure out how to use it because I have not played this game since its release, which was like 2 years ago. Then I claim the map because having a map is going to be very important for all the areas because as you'll see, I'll be doing lots of marking. The first item I go to grab is the Strength Knot Crystal Tear, which I'm pretty sure gives plus 10% more damage in the Wanderer's Physic. The next item I go to grab is on this bridge here, where I don't know what these things are called, these rolling ball things, but I kill one of those, and it gives me the Ashore Determination, which I'm pretty sure lasts for like 5 seconds or like one hit, but it gives you 60% more damage. Then I claim the East Limgrave map, and then head to the Church of Marika. Once I'm there, I grab the Wanderer's Physic and start making tons of markings on the map because all these markings will be kind of like checkpoints into like how far I'm into this run. Then I grab the Spiked Crack Tear, which gives 15% more damage while charging an attack. Then I run down here past the Rune Bear and grab the Charged Axe Talisman, which I'm pretty sure gives 20% more damage on charged attacks. Then I head through this teleporter to go to Caelid to set up something for the future and to get a current item, which I try to do a little swift move through that guy's leg and fail embarrassingly. Also, I want to thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. I appreciate you and love you guys so much. Also, I decided to do an Elden Ring challenge because I saw the DLC and it got my dick all hard, and I was like, you know what? Might as well, you know? Once I get to this very scary lightning tree, I go behind it and jump up this gust of wind to go to the Farron Keep or whatever it's called. Because this area I'll be using later to kill off the dragon, and I want to get an item up here which will help me skip something later. And as I'm running in, I take off all my armor and equipment because I think you run faster if you're in light load compared to medium or heavy load. And that was pretty anticlimactic, but just like that I got half the medallion, which I will use to skip through Liurnia and get to Atlas Plateau later. And with that I start heading to Liurnia, and on the way I find this scarab. And I forget the control, so I accidentally jump off, but you know, I make a slick recovery and head on my way to Liurnia, where I have to have my mandatory visit to Round Table Hold. And the first spot I go to in Liurnia is this guy right here who goes into a questionable position for me. I do this because I thought this gave me the medallion to skip Liurnia. At that time, I still thought it was, but I will stop my run later. After that, I take a stop by the 4 belfries, and I start trying to make my way towards the lift, which will get me to Atlas Plateau. And look how good this game looks, bro. Like, now this is where my heart kind of dropped. If you've ever been to this place, you know it's not so good. And immediately when I enter in, I get butt fucked, raped by all the arrows. Like, I have very vivid memories of this place on my first playthrough, and none of them are good whatsoever. So with finding that place, I have to kind of reroute and figure out where to go from there. But after like quite a while, I find my way here. And this is where I realized that I don't have the right medallions for it, which I'm kind of standing here confused for a couple minutes because I haven't quite registered it yet, but eventually I figure it out and start heading my way to Fort Hate. This wasn't really that far out of the way because it took me like a minute to get this, and I try to hit a little slick slide teleportation thing, but he just knocks me out of it. Once I make it to Fort Hate, I really have one goal and one goal only, which will be getting the Giant Crusher because that will be my weapon of choice to try to see how much damage I can get in one shot. So once I run past the 2 tree sentinels, I come over here to the site of Grace and grab the map so I can mark where this item is. Since I'm practically a one-shot to the boss here that spawns, my approach was kind of like running alongside the fence, so that way when he jumps over, I'm practically already at the chest. So once I get the chest, he kills me, but I already got the item. And with all that running and getting checkpoints out of the way, it's just time to go to my Graces and collect the items that I need. So the first one I go to is I follow this dirt path along the jellyfish and grab the jellyfish shield, which when I use its special ability will give me 20% more damage. And the next thing I need to do is visit the grace that I previously gotten and kill the dragon here for 75,000 souls. Now this was kind of a roadblock for me because when I first got here, I had no bleed weapon. Then I got a bleed weapon and I couldn't use it, so it inflicted no bleed. And then I figured out I had blood greases and I ran out midway through. So what I had to do is I had to find the recipe and then start crafting a decent amount of them. And then I realized that I don't have enough FP to keep doing the special attacks, which make him bleed faster. So I had to go get a couple more of those golden seeds to make my Estus Flask higher, and that's where I'm at right now. So after applying a couple of buffs and switching between my FP Estus and reapplying buffs, he finally goes down. So I apply 14 into Dex, that way I can use the Jellyfish Shield, and I apply the rest into Strength. And what I kind of realized here is that I don't have enough to even two-hand it. So what I have to do is go through this area and collect the theragon Sword Seal, which will give 5 Strength, 5 Dex, and 5 and 2 other stats that I don't know of. The only risk with this is it makes you take more damage, but that doesn't really matter for my build. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wandered around here for like a minute and a half before realizing I could jump there. But once you make that jump, you just drop down here beside this giant rat, and then you can collect the theragon Sword Seal. So the next big step for me to do is get all the smithing stones so I can craft this weapon, or upgrade it, because this is sadly a regular weapon, so the farming for this will be a little bit tedious. So I get the giant here to break this for me, and I get, I think, like 5 regular ones and 1 number 2, which will be very helpful. So this is just like basically a montage of me getting all the different smithing stones. And Liurnia was like a jackpot. It had every single number 2 that I need, every single 3, and a couple smithing stones 4s. Also, something that I did that I forgot to record was I killed the Deathrite bird in Liurnia and the one back in Limgrave because I needed some souls to upgrade my weapon, and because the one in Liurnia is basically the red tearstone ring, which when you are below 20% health gives you 20% extra damage, which will be pretty crucial for this. Then I make my way in Caelid to get the last smithing stone that I need. And with that, I go and try to kill off Margit. That way I have enough runes to level up my weapon, because this weapon is expensive. And also, when I kill Morgot, I get an extra talisman pouch, which will be very necessary because I will have to use the theragon Sword Seal. And now I'm pretty sure Elden Ring's system is that the multipliers time each other. So my weapon two-handed does 300 damage. So if you do all the math, I times it by 1.2 by the Jellyfish Shield, 1.2 by the red tearstone ring, 1.15 and 1.10 by the tears, and 60% because of the Ash of War Determination. And since I'll be using a charged attack, I think the total should be around 9 times the regular hit multiplier. So with that Yapfest out of the way, I get myself low by these enemies over here so it activates the red tearstone ring, and I start heading over to the goats because that will be a very easy target to hit. So once I get there, I apply my Wanderer's Physic, then I apply my Jellyfish Shield buff, then I find a sheep, put Ash of War Determination, charge up my attack, and I do 2,437 damage. And that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.